has said there is no humor in her speech at all, so to get all your laughs out now. It's my pleasure to introduce Kemi Akapo here. It's a pretty soft introduction. I don't think either of us expected this many people, so what a pleasure it is to have everybody here. I knew who Kemi was before she knew who I was. So how we met, it's a bit weird, but there's context to that weirdness, okay? We were at the time housing a young woman named Esther Sue from Fiji at her house. Esther Sue told me about Kemi, who she was, that she had moved in 2 houses down, right? She doesn't even know this, right? So I'm out there, I'm putting my recycling to the side of the road, and I look, and there's this Kemi here, and I say, "Oh, Kemi, you're Kemi. Would you like to come to my house for dinner?" Right? And she's like, "Well, who the heck are you?" Right? She didn't actually say that. But she, and I think that the graceness that she showed in that moment is maybe indicative of her political prowess that she might show in the years ahead. But she, to make a long story short, she's now a regular guest in our home for Friday night dinners. And she says she likes the example of that story because it shows an example of the Peterborough community and the connectivity that naturally exists here. So we're friends. At that point, she's working at Trent University, and there's this great job that's just about to open up at the new Canadian Centre with her name written all over it. I think it was called Kemi Services Coordinator. And then the Settlement Services Coordinator, her current role. She went for it, and then I intentionally removed myself from the interview panel, I just want to say, but she's been thriving in the role since then. Kemi's on the board of the YWCA and the Kawartha World Issues Center. Kemi volunteers at the Warming Room Overnight program. When I left the New Canadian Centre, I sat on the policy committee at the Greater Peterborough Chamber of Commerce, and she inherited that post from me. Kemi was the co-lead alongside my incredibly smart wife for a private sponsorship of a refugee family here in town. Kemi is on point. Kemi is smart. Kemi is sociable and engaged with her community, with the Peterborough community. I'm a friend of Kemi's, and I like her, and I'm proud of her. She is a positive agent of change in the community, and I believe that she will make an excellent councillor representing the City of Peterborough's Town Ward. She will be dedicated. She will make informed decisions. She will engage both the tough and the soft issues, of which there are many. People of Peterborough, please put your hands together for Kemi Akapo.
Michael, thank you so much for that very kind introduction. That story of how we met is like one of my favorite Peterborough stories, and it's so indicative of who you are as a connector. And whenever I think, okay, I need to connect this person to somebody else, who should I talk to? I think of you, Michael. That's something that really inspires me about you, and that's something that I hope that I can be one day for folks here in Peterborough. So thank you so much. Wow, hello everyone. I am a little overwhelmed, I have to be honest. I was not expecting so many people to show up. Thank you. My name is Kemi Akapo, and I am running to be your next councillor for Town Ward. My decision to run for council is inspired by all of you, and I'm really grateful for your support. When I was about 7 years old, my school organized a fundraiser for a local orphanage. I got really excited about it. I signed up, I got all my pledges. It was a walkathon, and I wanted to compete with my brother. I was like, I'm gonna raise more money than my brother. So my mom saw that, and she was really excited to see how engaged I was and how much I was really willing to provide support and fundraise for this orphanage. But my mom said to me, she said, Kemi, you know, we don't just provide community care once a year. It's something that we do year round.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what we ended up doing is that we would go to the local market, we'd see the vendors, we'd buy fruits and vegetables and package them up in cute little baskets, and we'd take them to the orphanage, usually like on a weekly basis, and we would spend time with the kids there, got to know them, and eventually we were able to provide other supports for them during their time there. It was something that I really grew to love. It was something that I looked really forward to, was spending time with my mom, but also with the community. And that sort of spirit of caring for community, I have carried that along with me ever since. And I believe that is reflective in the work that I do and in the volunteering that I do as well. Yeah. And on that note of respect and caring, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge the land that we are standing on. This place that we live in, Peterborough, also known as Nagojuanong, is a place at the end of the rapids. This place is Michi-Sagig Anishinaabe territory, and our presence here is governed by the Williams Treaty. I'm really grateful and find a great privilege for me to be living here. For 7 years, I have been attending council meetings, going to community events, and participating in local discussions. Most recently, I've been knocking on doors and been speaking to people on their front porches and listening to what they have to say. They've told me that they want a city council that they can trust. They want a council that listens to them. They want a council which is accountable and respectful of their residents.
Yes.
They want a council that is accessible. And finally, they want a council that will give them hope for the future. That matters to me, and what matters to you matters to me, and I am willing and ready to work for it. I have been a resident of Peterborough for 14 great years. It'll be 14 years actually, October 28th. But I've lived and I've worked in Town Ward for the past 11. It is my home and I love it here. The river that runs through Peterborough is called the Otonabee or the Odonabe. And in Anishinaabe, it means the river that beats like a heart. Town Ward is the heartbeat of our community. It's home to our historic downtown, where you can find diverse residential neighborhoods, as well as businesses, cultural hubs, and social service agencies. Walking through Peterborough and Town Ward every day, I notice the strengths of our community, but also the challenges that face us. I notice that this is a community that cares. People have each other's backs. I've heard from friends how people took care of each other after the flood in 2004. I've witnessed people helping others during snowstorms, pushing cars out of ditches, shoveling each other's driveways. Every day as I walk and I cycle to work, I see proof that this is a community that cares.
Yeah.
Along with our strengths, we certainly have our challenges. We have a fluctuating unemployment rate, we have a high need for mental health supports, and we need to heal the harms that are associated with substance abuse. We also have a 1% vacancy rate, which is creating a housing crisis. Many people in our community struggle with poverty, trauma, and homelessness. These are real issues in our community. They are complex, but we need to deal with them because they affect us all. Woo. We need to continue to support the great work that's done by organizations such as PARN, Forecast, the Youth Emergency Shelter, the Warming Room Community Ministries, Kawartha Food Share, Peterborough Social Services, Peterborough Public Health, among many others. They have taught us that there is evidence-based solutions rooted in our systems that we can use to face our challenges. We can find creative solutions to our challenges. Peterborough is a very creative place. There are musicians, there are performers, there are artists that call Town Ward home. Collective creativity is key to resilience and new ideas. Applause for the local musician. When it comes down to you and me and our neighborhoods, we don't just solve challenges. We've found really great and innovative ways to attack them. We form working groups, we host neighborhood potluck meals, we do clothing exchanges, which I love. We build mini libraries, and one of my favorites is we dig community and pollinator gardens.
Woo!
Yeah. We find ways to open our doors to increase rental options. We open our arms to refugee families, and we also open our wallets to support great grassroots initiatives that increase our resilience. And on top of it all, we know how to throw a party. All right, how many of you have been to Ribfest?
Yes.
A couple people, all right. How many of you have been to Multicultural Canada Day Festival? What about Peterborough Pulse? Peterborough Music Fest? Live and local lunches? How many of you have been to Head of the Tread? So every day we find, and thousands of people in Peterborough find ways to celebrate diversity and connection at community events and festivals, in their own kitchens all year round. We know how to throw a party, and you might say we're throwing one right now.
Oh yeah.
Earlier in remarks, I acknowledged the territory that we are on. I'd like to highlight that. Indigenous settler relationships are important to me, and I want to honor the powerful work that's already been done by local Indigenous organizations such as Nitchkawendada, Friendship Center, the First Peoples House of Learning up at Trent. And there are many independent Indigenous activists as well as allies who've done a lot of work. So much has been done, but so much else needs to continue to be done. And I commit to working towards increasing those strengths while I'm in City Council. So, let's get down to it. Before we get back to the festivities, let me tell you what my priorities are for Town Board. Citizenship engagement, housing, jobs, infrastructure, transportation, and our natural environment. For me, citizen engagement goes beyond just listening to residents and making sure their voices are heard. It means providing meaningful opportunities for people to get involved in what's going on at Council. One way I'll do that is by hosting regular meetings in Town Ward so folks can come to me, tell me what their ideas are, tell me what I'm doing well, but also tell me what else they want to see me doing. And you can hold me accountable. Housing is a human right. No one should live in Peterborough without access to good and safe, affordable housing. I will fight for safe, affordable housing, and that especially includes housing options for folks who are experiencing or at risk of experiencing homelessness. We have suffered layoffs and job losses here in Peterborough as a result of the economy changing, but as well as because of businesses shutting down. We need a strategy for job creation. So I will continue to promote entrepreneurship and supporting existing businesses and making it easier for businesses to grow here. Our city needs a wide range of jobs in order to thrive. People also tell me that they want a council that can create and effectively maintain vital infrastructure. They want improved road maintenance, expanded cycling routes, snow removal, and more comprehensive flood mitigation strategies. And this brings me to transportation. It's very important that we improve the way that we move around the city, whether it's on bikes, on mobility devices, by walking, driving, or taking public transit. Reliable transportation matters. It's especially want to ensure that public transit is accessible, affordable, and convenient.
Yes. Woo.
So many of you have told me how much you value our green spaces and our water. I agree with you, and I am committed to ensuring that the environmental impact is considered in all decision making.
Wow.
So, wellness, jobs, infrastructure, transportation, and the environment are critical long-term issues that require a council to look beyond the terms of one election cycle. I am committed to working towards a long-term sustainable planning for our city. And more broadly, I am committed to listening. A council informed by the diverse voices and values of its residents will make better and more durable decisions that reflect the whole community rather than just representing a select few. I may be the one running for council, but really this is your campaign and all of our campaigns. It's about you, it's about your vision for Town Ward. I am here to collaborate with you and to represent you. It's about who we are as a community and how we work together. So, how can you help? There are 5 ways you can help. You'll see across the room, there are posters hung up on the wall that says, Kemi because. I want you to go up and write the reasons why you're supporting me, but also write the things that are important to you that you want me to know. You can also make a donation. Donations can be made through the website, or you can write a check. There's a clanky bottle over there. Thank you, Alyssa. You can also volunteer with the campaign. My friend Tia over there at the action table is ready and willing for you to come and sign up to be a volunteer. There are many ways for you to volunteer and give of your time. You can put up a lawn sign or wear a snazzy button. I made these buttons, just so you know. And finally, you can tell your family, you can tell your friends, tell your colleagues, all of whom live in Town Ward about this campaign. I want them to know about it, and I want to meet them because I want to hear what is important to them. Peterborough is changing, and I'm driven to see it change for the better. I'm really excited to continue the work of transforming our city into a forward-thinking, culture-loving, family-friendly, business-welcoming, outdoor living place where everyone feels welcome and everyone belongs.
Yeah!
Vote Kemi or Akapo for our community, our vision, and for our future. me for like a week and then